Well, this is a second update for the day. I did buy a couple those small things of cereal from the local coffee shop, as well as a slice of their you know local cake or whatever. Then a small americano, just because I didn't need anything. My backpack is so full, and I didn't want to dig around and like just eat a can of whatever in the middle of the coffee shop. It just kind of looks bad. Um, but I did that, tipped a little bit. Probably spent about $13 or so. And then afterwards, I went to the grocery store, got a small packet of turkey like lunch deli meat, Oscar Mayer, but it was on sale for like 333 or something like that, a little bit more. It's about 300 400 calories or so, but I figured I'd rather have about 400 calories of pure protein rather than the cans of whatever I've been getting full of. And well, I mean, the cans as well as the turkey meat, I'm sure have extra sodium in them, but it's less sodium I think than the potted meat. Um, but the yeah, so but I want to get some pure protein as opposed to the cans of whatever. Given it is several dollars less getting the cans, but it's like half carbohydrates, half protein, and who knows what else is in it. Um, but yeah, I wanted some lean protein, and then I got a bag of what I guess the nuts they sell around this time. Bag nuts, and they were on the clearance rack. I don't know if they were actually on clearance; they didn't have any labels on them, but they're all sitting on the clearance rack. And then when it rung up, it rung up for like $5 for the pack, and I was like, "It's fine, whatever." Mostly because I'd rather have some raw nuts. You know, good for protein and some fiber, vitamins. I'm sure, unless they roasted them. Sometimes roasting, raw products kind of takes the vitamins out or processed whatever. But they still have all the shells on their walnuts. I might be allergic. I don't know. I've had some times in the past where the roof of my mouth has gotten a little bit funny when I've eaten raw walnuts, but we'll see. Did that and then got some more cans of the some more cans of the protein carbohydrate mix, the stuff that I've been getting. I just wanted to basically have a meal since I don't know where I'll be sleeping tonight or what I'll be doing. I wanted to make sure I had plenty of calories to last me in case I had to stay up all night or something. So I got that. Uh, Gotta move my stuff out of my spot today, which basically is a duffel bag of my clothes that desperately need to be washed. Are still wet because it's not a weatherproof bag. And I left it next to the place I was staying because there was a heat source, and I was hoping the heat source would kind of heat up the clothes and like dry them out, but I doubt that they're dried out at all. Um, I still have my sleeping bag at the place I'm staying to on top of the duffel bag of clothes, so I have to go move that along with the clothes, stick it somewhere where won't get noticed or whatever. Hopefully, um, and keep it separate from me because I'm not wearing any clothes out of the duffel bag. I have a couple of shirts in my backpack, as well as the pants I've been using for work and whatnot. So those wouldn't get taken, but as long as I have them on my person in case I need to switch out pants for whatever. Um, yeah, so did that, and those are the plans for the night. Make sure I got some food for the calories. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna have to find a place like go on Craigslist or something like that and see if I can supplicate whatever money I have left to stay with somebody or stay at a place or find a cheap motel or something like that for less than 100 a week or something. Um, I'm gonna have to do that, and if I do that, I can probably get my clothes washed and take a shower, and then walk to the nearest breweries or whatever else. Try and get a job in one of those places so that I at least have some place to stay, as well as a place that that I can get employed hopefully around that kind of around that area. Um, and it'll be walking distance for wherever I might be staying. Um, yeah, and then have some sort of income, and then hopefully the hotel or whatever else motel might be cheap enough to where I can put some cash aside and keep on trying to save the car. The whole point of this, one, I don't have a place to stay now. I don't have a place to like lay my head or anything. But the yeah, so the whole point of this is hopefully, try and make some cash, save some kind of money, and save on like stress. I mean, because I'm sure I'm consuming extra calories because of stress. My body's trying to repair itself and it's consuming a lot of calories, trying to keep itself warm, etc., etc. But doing that, and then hopefully saving up for saving up slowly but surely for something, as well as hopefully waiting for the stimulus check, the $2,000 stimulus check. Because if I have a car, I can get jobs wherever else. If I go get a motel, then I might keep the car and stay there as well. Stay there as well. Keep the car and try and get better jobs, and then slowly but surely, hopefully, save up for a place. The reason why I don't have an apartment, I mentioned this in one of my previous videos, is I got quote unquote an eviction back in around 2006 or 2016. I never paid that off. That was like $1,000 that I owe the company, the parent company of where I was staying, and so that obviously looks bad on the credit. But as well, certain places either look for the fact that you're making 3 times the amount of rent, or what is it? Or your credit score. Credit's not great. It's just not great. I have a lot of outstanding bills that I need to get paid off and whatnot. But the so the credit for that, as well as I'd have to have a job, or at least a couple of jobs, to prove that I'm making 3 times the amount of rent. And since 2016, when I was paying around $700 a month for rent for my 1-bedroom, or 1-bedroom / studio, was about a little bit over $700. So since then, being 4 or 5 years later, or 4 years later, I imagine that rent's about around $800 or so for a 1-bedroom. So if I can find a job where I'm making at least $2,400 a month, might not selling much. I mean, I guess it depends on your field. Not a lot of jobs. I mean, my last job, I was basically making, let's see, they cut my hours a bit, so I was only making like, about $800 a month, around $800 a month. So $2,400 is kind of a stretch. One of my previous jobs, I was fitted. It was in management, but I was fitted to make around $50K a year. Now it's just management. It was one of those top tier, companies or whatever else. One of those chains. And yeah, but that fell through. I accidentally sold alcohol after, because I don't know if you know the North Carolina state, but you can't buy alcohol after 2 a.m. And the fact that they cross-trained over the state line. In South Carolina, they can sell alcohol all night long. North Carolina, it's 2 a.m. And they didn't have any systems in place to keep me from selling. And I was still in a training week. And basically and I was coming up on the final couple of days of my training until I actually got into the shift. But I was in such a hurry because it was an overnight shift, and still kind of out of it and still trying to adjusting to the night shift thing. No excuses. I basically sold alcohol after 2 a.m. And I admitted to my training to the guy, because I was being trained by another employee who was being trained to train. Basically, he was being trained to train me, but he was training me while being trained, so it was kind of like a learning process for him too. But anyways, I mean, apparently nothing like that had happened before. The guy who was training him didn't know what to do, or didn't know the consequences or whatever else. And I was like, hey, I think I literally just sold alcohol after 2 a.m. It was a fluke. And he's like, oh, okay, so wait a day or so, and then come back to work. And then the district supervisor or something like that from the company had to come down, because it was management. It has to come from corporate, whatever else, if they need to let me go or something like that. But they're like, yeah, basically you broke the law, so technically we have to let you go. We're not going to blacklist you. We encourage you to reapply. And they're hoping that I would reapply or whatever else. I did reapply. Maybe it was like by the time they're done hiring all the management staff that they wanted at the time. So I guess I didn't get back in, or that because I don't know what they're looking at. I'm sure it's, hey, you sold alcohol, so we don't want to. They said they didn't blacklist me. They wanted me to reapply, or they encouraged me to. But yeah, and then that's when I lost that job, and then that's kind of when things started kind of go downhill, because I was in a rental at that time, and I needed the cash to pay for the rental on a consistent basis. And the rentals at the time, I basically lost my car back in January, and the rentals at the time were about $600 to $800 a month. That's basically rent. So you don't have, you might be making money, but you're not going to make enough money to pay rent and then pay for rental at the same time, because I didn't have a car, let alone save up for a car. I mean, and I wasn't making the checks where I would be getting 50 grand a year. Like, I had to pass training first before they started giving me those checks. So, yeah, I didn't get a chance to save up for a car, still in the rental. And so after that job, I struggled and, tried to find whatever job I could to try and supplicate the $600, or because I mean, rentals, especially the way I was doing, you pay like per week. It's like $150, $200 per week or so, whatever. And yeah, so I had to have that. Otherwise, rental companies, the way this year's been going, they've gotten a little strict. But yeah, so I have an outstanding balance on them too. So I mean, I as well, my backpack, whenever my backpack was sitting on my laptop and everything else like that, my social and whatnot, as well as my winter jacket. I had my credit card in there too, and yes, I do or did have a credit card. I still have a outstanding balance at that company, but I don't have a physical credit card, and I don't even have a mailbox now, so I can't even get another one, like get a replacement for it. But yeah, I mean, so I mean, it was one of those companies that, hey, you have really bad credit, so we'll give you a credit card. I'm sure it's like high interest rates, whatever else, but it was someone to build back my credit. And back when I had more consistent jobs, I could pay that off and use it, and as well, I needed the credit card for the rental as well. So that's the other issue. On top of the outstanding balance I have for the rental company. But yeah, so there is that. And so debating if I can't find a place now, see how much cash I have left, see if I can't get like a week or a 2 week long motel rental or something like that nearby, and then go apply to the local businesses around the area to see what I can claim. If I have a place to stay, I know what I'm worth. I mean, I'm worth a lot more. The reason why I lowball myself on how much I can make is because, one, I don't have too many clothes that are actually clean. Two, I smell. I mean, stress sweat. It gets pretty bad, especially like if your internals are as bad as mine, as far as like the diabetes and stress, whatever else, and it goes through everything. So there's that. Plus, I don't have a car. And not having a car makes it so it's. I mean, during the summer it gets somewhat hot here. But yeah, I mean, it's not exactly easy to be poignant. Not that I haven't been poignant, but poignant meaning on time. But basically, yeah, it's made things a little bit difficult. So yeah, but when I have a place, I'm a little bit more sane mind. I don't have to worry. I'm under a lot of stress when I can't find a place to like actually rest, because rest is any person's sanity. You have sanity, you think better, you don't have the pressure of whatever. And yeah, so and then you can guarantee. I mean, I know what I'm worth. I know what I'm capable of. I do have little patience sometimes for less than professionalism. When other people are, because I like to say I work hard. It's not for me to judge; it's for others, to judge me. But when other people are making my job a little bit more difficult, it's a little aggravating, as well as sometimes mid to young 20-year-olds or whoever don't exactly know, full realities of things or professionalism or, like cooking science, temperatures and things like that. And so they misjudge or, they basically, I don't know, they're just not very, very good cooks. And I've dealt with that too. But yeah, so that's where I'm at now. Just holding on and seeing what the best options for me getting a job are, because staying where I was previous, there's a lot of jobs or places I can apply to nearby. But now, we'll see what happens. All right. See you guys later. Talk later. All right. Bye.